What's up, residents? It's your Mayor of Dangerville, Alistair, back once again with some Godzilla and Kong goodness. The trailer for the new Empire is so close I can just smell it. The follow-up to Godzilla vs. Kong, directed by Adam Wingard, is set to delve deeper into the Hollow Earth and uncover the history of the Titans. It's obviously going to have plenty of Godzilla and Kong, but it's also going to have a bunch of entirely new monsters. But not only that, a fan-favorite monster has been rumored to return. But who could that be? We also have some big Godzilla -1 news, so stick to the end to find out about that. Remember, this is all rumor and speculation based on supposed leaks. So if you don't want anything to be spoiled going into Godzilla and Kong the New Empire, even if these don't necessarily come true, then here's your warning to leave the video now. But otherwise, let's get to it. Some test screenings for Godzilla and Kong the New Empire have been going on recently, and basically from what I've heard is they're actually going really well. People are really resonating with the movie in quite a different way than you might expect. It's supposedly going to be really funny, not in just the haha that's a funny joke kind of way, but more of the situations the monsters find themselves in, and how they kind of handle the monsters. Think of Godzilla doing a tail slide in Godzilla vs. Megalon, but probably not that crazy. We have a list of what we can expect from the film, and in my opinion it sounds really cool. But what do you think? Supposedly the movie is funny and Showa-esque, lots more sci-fi elements than the previous film, human cast is way better than Godzilla vs. Kong, audience have been crushing on Dan Stevens, I mean who wouldn't? Godzilla doesn't have much screen time, but from what I've heard he actually has about the same amount of screen time as in Godzilla vs. Kong, so if you didn't mind it there, you won't mind it here. It's a Kong-centered story, which I don't mind. He was amazing in the previous film, and it's really easy to emotionally connect with him because he's, well, just a giant primate. There hasn't been a negative screening, which is obviously really great to hear. Audience reactions normally dictate whether they go back and do some reshoots, but they haven't done that as far as I know. Unlike Godzilla vs. Kong, which had some pretty poor original audience reactions, which is why they went back and reshot a bunch of stuff, and the film that came out is completely different to the film they originally planned. Each screening is more positive than the last, which obviously shows they're just adding to the VFX more. Audience were not fans of one monster in one of the earlier test screenings, but then the monster was replaced with one that will make fans very happy. And now this brings us back to that title. Now, take this with a grain of salt. The one monster that was supposedly meant to appear in the film was a giant bird-like monster that was supposedly going to help Godzilla fight these other giant monsters. But now, brace yourself for this, it's been replaced with Mothra. Because audiences were pretty positive about every other aspect of the film, when it came to that one monster they thought, we can do better. So they've gone ahead and replaced the CGI of the bird with our favorite big moth. Which, if that's true, makes me so happy. I loved Mothra in King of the Monsters, and I think that she didn't actually have enough screen time. So if we can delve more into her character this time around, and get her actually helping Godzilla, then it's gonna, like the tweet says, make fans very happy. It makes sense because since the monster we're going against isn't a returning classic, then at least having one returning classic Titan come back, it makes complete sense. I completely get why they wouldn't like the bird. I mean, it is cool to get new monsters, but if we're getting plenty of new enemy Titans to fight against, having at least one recognizable face returning is obviously only a positive thing. But what will her role be? Well, considering that it seems like they're just replacing the CGI of a bird with a giant moth, I don't think we're going to see anything like the hatching sequence from King of the Monsters. I feel like they're just going to say that she's hatched somewhere and that she's coming to help. So obviously, if Godzilla and Kong are having trouble fighting the Scar King, then Mothra will come down with her god rays and blind him with her bright lights, which gives Godzilla and Kong that upper hand in their fight against the Scar King and Shimo. My issue with Mothra in King of the Monsters was that she was kind of sidelined. She showed up to fight Ghidorah with Godzilla, but then Rodan came in and just swooped her away, and I was like, ah! I wanted to see Godzilla and Mothra fighting Ghidorah. But if the rumors are correct, we might finally see Mothra and Godzilla and also Kong teaming up to face off against the Scar King and Shimo, the gigantic titan that he has at his control. So this gets me really hyped. I really hope this comes true. From what I've heard, it is, and I really hope they keep it a secret, because I want to keep guessing until I actually see her on the big screen. It would be just such an epic moment. It's a shame that Rodan isn't coming back as well, because I really liked his scene. His scene was probably one of the best scenes in the film, but if they couldn't find a way to have him return, then, you know, it is what it is. I'm sure Rodan's just very embarrassed after his defeat in Godzilla King of the Monsters, so he's probably just still hiding out in a volcano somewhere. But because Mothra is a protector like Godzilla, it makes complete sense that she'd come out to assist him in combat, which I am super hyped for. If you're wondering how Mothra can even return because I saw her die, well, basically, Mothra laid an egg before she passed away, and her consciousness gets transferred after she dies. So basically, a new Mothra is going to show up with the same memories and emotions as the one that passed before her. The rest of the stuff surrounding this film sounds really good. I just hope that they handle the humor and sci-fi elements well. There are ways to have really outlandish sci-fi elements in these films without making it silly or stupid or taking the mick out of itself. I think Godzilla vs. Kong handled its sci-fi elements pretty well, even though it was a huge departure from what came before it. Like, I don't want to make this comparison, but look at Marvel. It has so many ridiculous elements, but it's handled with complete sincerity, and we believe it. It went from being a super grounded superhero franchise to people zipping around space in the course of a few films, and we bought it. It did it well, and I really hope they do it well here. I just cannot wait for this film. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think about Mothra potentially returning in Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. But before I go, we have some big Godzilla -1 news, and it's that Anime Limited will be distributing the film to the UK and Ireland. This is amazing news for me because I really thought I wasn't going to be able to see this thing. It will be opening to up to 250 cinemas on December 15th. Which, yeah, it's a bit annoying it's 2 weeks later than the US, but I'm just happy we get to see it at all. It will be releasing in IMAX and 4D theaters, and it's actually the biggest film that Anime Limited has done, meaning this isn't some small limited release, this is a big event. Toho really has confidence it can do well over here, which means the film's gonna hopefully be a worldwide hit. I'm actually really thankful they've confirmed it's coming to IMAX, because I know there's been a lot of issue with Beyonce taking the IMAX screens in America, so if you really want to see Godzilla -1 in IMAX and you can't because of Beyonce, then just catch a flight to the UK. We've got you. So this is just really exciting news. I'm so happy to hear about this. Be sure to give this video a Kong-sized thumbs up if you want more Godzilla and Kong goodness. And be sure to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.